Welcome back to the program. Now we are being joined by Chris Migwambo in our studio, where he is talking to Miss Nelly Ndonye about this year's Social Media Week.
Today we are privileged to have Nelly Ndonye, who has been in the world of ICT for the last 13 years, and she's privileged to be with us today to talk about what is going to happen the Social Media Week, which contains the Premier and Technology Conference that is going to happen in the country. Nelly, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for making time for Lolo TV.
Not at all. It's always great to talk about digital and what's happening in the industry, so I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, thank you for coming. It's chilly, but I hope we are going to go well, right?
Yes.
Now, getting into it, what is Social Media Week?
So Social Media Week is an event that happens about 28 countries, whereby people who are curious and passionate about digital come together to discuss the emerging trends, to discuss innovation, to discuss trends, and discover what other people are doing in the market. So besides a lot of conversations, debates, there's also exhibitions from companies that are doing some amazing things, or companies that have developed some new executions that would add value to social media engagements. It's actually also an event for networking.
And then when we're talking about the Social Media Week, definitely our audiences would like to know, people who've got much interest about this thing. When is it happening?
So the event will be happening from the 12th to the 15th, so that's June. We'll be having the event at Movenpick, the new hotel in Westlands. A lot of the first few days will be panel discussions, there will be master classes, there will be some debates, and then at the very end, on the last day, on the 15th, we'll have a digital media awards.
And then when you talk about 12th to 14th, the timings around, perhaps if you might just specify the timings and then the end of the conference day.
So we have some sessions that are coming in that are starting at about 7:30 in the morning, and the last session ends at about 6. There's a lot that we're trying to pack into this event, so we're kind of stretching it a little bit with the time.
And then talking about the Social Media Week, definitely the people who lead the hashtags and the themes and everything. This year, what have you decided to be the theme of the Social Media Week?
So the theme for this year is closer. So what we'll be doing is we'll be exploring the intensifying conflict between individualism and community. What we're finding is that, or rather how the trend is going, is that we all want to join a community because we feel like we're connected in one way or the other, but we still want to maintain our individual personalities and our individuality in the content we put out or the content that we consume. We want to feel that it's directed at us.
And then when you talk about being closer, is now the Social Media Week is trying to bring closer the general public, or just the general public being taught about the new moves in the world of ICT?
Yes, so we'll be looking at the U universe, so the space that you exist in as an individual or as a user on social media. We'll be discussing the social divide. So what divide comes in, or what happens when you are on different platforms, and how do they each relate to each other, or how do they separate in terms of the content shared. And then we'll also be looking at artificial intelligence versus humanity.
And then when we talk about the whole theme and then moving forward, we know right now that there's so much affecting the social media circle. There's a lot of laws here and there. Are these also some of the topics you'll be having an opportunity to discuss and just give the Kenyans the way forward? Yes,
so there's a lot of policies that are coming in around consumer data. There's a lot of policies that exist in terms of what can you share, or how are platforms sharing information. So I wouldn't say it'll be churning out information. We'll be actually having a constructive debate on how that affects a business, because businesses are on social because they want to engage, they want to know who their consumers are. But then again, how much information should they know about a consumer? So it's a little bit of even looking at what happened with Facebook Analytica. So that's definitely a conversation that's going to come up, just to look at the pros, the cons, how can we protect ourselves as brands and and as consumers of social media.
And also the hacking of accounts and the cyberbullying.
Yes, of course, definitely. Cyberbullying has been growing, it's getting a little bit worse, but I think legislation is what will also protect that, because as much as you want to say people need to be responsible, there'll still be those people who are not. So there should be an element of legislation such that if there are incidences that happen, how can they be handled. How can this culprits be put to task, you know, or how do they get quote unquote punished for it, you know, to give people comfort, because as much as we are conscious about giving access to social media, we have to also be careful about what content people are consuming. So you look at digital is a growing space and adds value, there's education, there's valuable content, and you want to have your kids being able to consume this content instead of playing video games or doing other things or just wasting time.
And talking about the social media week, are you having a feeling that the conference is coming at the right time when almost everything is going to the way you are ICT way? We get the cars moving up and down. You have to have the app. You want to do transaction in the banks. You have to just have a little knowledge of ICT. Is this conference really coming at the right time?
Well, considering it's our third, I think it's a progression. So it's always the right time. It's about being able to provide valuable and real-time content in terms of where we are. There is a belief that the future is digital, but actually the digital is now. So it's just about how much access you have and how far you want to go in terms of executions or acceptance. Artificial intelligence at even the very simple level is available, is being used right now in our market, but not very many people have learned how to tap into it. So those are some of the conversations we're going to have.
And then Nelly, when we are almost going for a break, I would just like to know the news story out of this. You've said this is the third time you're doing the social media week. Which is the news story? Because I'm told there's the Digital Media Awards.
Yes, so that for us is a big thing. So we've had the session the last 2 years. There are a lot of other awards that happen in the country, but what we want to push for and what we're trying to position is using social media to actually deliver value in terms of revenue to clients. So that's where the awards are coming in, and being able to celebrate all the categories. So we've got different categories, and sometimes in other awards they're not featured as well as they would have been featured, or maybe the opportunity for those particular categories do not come up. So that's what we have planned for the Digital Media Awards. Now
talking about the awards, the aim of the awards, when it starts between the 12th and the 14th.
All right, so there've been continuous discussions on the variety of awards that exist in the market. I'm sure most people know about the lorries, most people know about our local summer awards. So we have a lot of awards that are already happening in the industry, but what we felt is that social media as a category is not being specifically awarded, and we felt that it's not acknowledging both the agency and the business that has invested, because to execute a great campaign that will add value, you need the buy-in from the business and the investment from the business, but you also need a very qualified and very energetic and passionate team to execute, and both of them need to be celebrated. So we felt that we needed to come up with an award ceremony that would celebrate this too. And then looking at the space there, I see you'll be awarding ranging from individual content creation, there's the digital migration management, digital publishing, and app development. When you talk about app development, to me, we've got Kenyans who are so much developing apps. Apps took a bit of a trend. So we had in the year before 2010, apps were kind of picking up, and then we hit 2011, 2012, and there was a slowdown in adoption of apps, and mostly because of cost of data. But then again, it's picked up again, but now it's about value, because we've better understood how the app should actually deliver value. And this has also been accelerated by the fintech industry, because money is every day, and mobile money has become a way of life, and then there's other services that it can get from apps. So fintech has pretty much, I would say, played a big part. But what we also have is that there are a lot of other apps being developed, and they're not the people who've come up with this apps that are actually adding value to people's lives are not being acknowledged or not being visible or celebrated. So that's part of the reason why we're looking at that category.
And then the Nairobians and the IT gurus, you call them that name. What should they expect in this year's conference?
In this year's conference, what to expect is to discover more of what's already happening in Africa that you probably haven't had direct access to. So we've got representatives from LinkedIn, we've got Meltwater who've been here before, we've got Facebook who are coming in, we've got a lot of international players who are coming into town to just tell us about what technology they already have available for us to use to deliver value, but we don't know about it. So that's a little bit of what to expect. At the same time, for the awards, what to expect is to see some really exciting businesses coming up and agencies coming up, mostly because a lot of you will find that if you don't interact with a brand, you'll never know what that brand is doing.
Very true.
So if you actually interact with certain brands, you do have a clue. So I want to kind of bring out the brands that are doing amazing stuff. So you can see where digital is in the country and what potential exists.
And then when you talk about this year, you included the students, university students, and the youth specifically, or you're running across?
So we have different sessions. So we've got, even when you look at the ticketing options, because of the way the schedule is done, you can actually buy a ticket for a particular session, or you can buy a day pass, or you can buy the whole week pass. And that allows anyone who would like to attend to show up. But we also have a lot of professionals coming in, mostly because they're the ones who want to look at the bottom line. And they're the same people who need to appreciate what opportunity exists. So it's a little bit of information, a little bit of debate, a little bit of challenging the status quo. So a lot of some of the people we expect are people who are like, what's happening on digital? So when they come in and they look at what's already in the market, what other people are doing, then it challenges them to go and deliver the same from where they are from.
And then talking about the side of the fourth asset, the media, we are asking ourselves, how will we be having the opportunity to cover this, and what necessarily do we need to get that opportunity to at least know a thing? Because you see right now, we are going into people are going live, people are doing everything. Each and every television station wants its own website. How are we going to get the ability to cover this?
Well, for this session, we won't be able to stream it live, but there will be a lot of content being pushed out on our social channels. All the information on our social channels will also be available on the website. So that's how we're churning out a lot of our content.
And then the media being the media being allowed to get the information, the accreditation to cover the whole event. Is it now a throughway?
Well, there's opportunity for partnership. Definitely opportunity for partnership. So there are some media houses we've already partnered with at different categories. So I wouldn't say that there's no room.
We love the opportunity to see this for
ourselves. There's definitely an opportunity.
And then talking about social media, we in the media industry, the social media is almost taking over our jobs, because today you find that a little story goes viral on social media is when TV and the radios will come in. How is social media playing a key role in businesses and companies?
So when you look at the virality of content, you have to look at the content first before the platform, because if it's a good piece of content, of course people want to hear it and people want to share it, people want to talk about it. It's like a piece of gossip, maybe. If I tell you a good piece of gossip, you want to share it, right? So it's the same thing. So it's about the quality of the content. Now, we find that good stories don't get as much virality as, I would say, negative stories, but the idea is how you package your piece of content and how you deliver it, because sometimes even good content needs some support. So be it media support, or be it influencer support, or be it seeding support. All content needs some support.
And then when we look at the key role played by social media, relating with the companies, the other day we had a very story about a certain hotel in town. It had to go to social media. Are you going to teach the companies and the heads on how to handle the pressure that comes with social media, and even some public figures?
And that's why we have a crisis and reputation management award. Because I won't say that we will be able to teach, because it's actually it's a big exercise on how to manage crisis and reputation. But we will have like Meltwater, who have a reputation tool, who will be at the event. So you can be able to track a story before it goes big, whether it's negative or it's a bit of a reputation management. So those are some of the opportunities we're providing. However, we won't celebrate the people who've actually done crisis management well, so that we can also set a pace for our country. There are certain things that as a business you can manage before it gets onto social media and gets a life of its own.
And then when we talk about impact, the impact social media week is going to leave. Now this is the third time. What can you predict that you see at the end on the 14th? People will be walking out and say, you know what, it was such a conference.
We have a lot more technology being presented this time, a lot more solutions. So my expectations that we'll be able to deliver more exciting solutions as an industry. We will be able to deliver measurements for our brands in terms of how they spend and what they get in terms of engagement or traffic or comments. We'll be able to better optimize, because when you look at what you've done right and what you could do better, then that's an opportunity for you to improve. So a lot of what I expect post this event is that we'll see better campaigns coming into the market or getting executed in the market. I also see brands getting more value for their digital investments and social media investments.
And then talking about the brands, this being your third time doing social media, do you have a feeling that the brands are running into social media more of just doing their basic thing, the marketing, just making your brand be known? All the roads lead to social media.
I think that the thing that, or the fact that brands have gotten to understand is that even if they're not on social media, people on social media are talking about their brands. So you'd rather be part of that conversation. So we're having more and more brands getting onto social media, but there is a need to specialize based on where your target market is more visible.
Thank you so much, Nelly, for coming.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so much interested in coming to that conference.
You should. Please,
you'll give me that opportunity.
Oh yes, please.
Thank you so much for watching. You heard it very well from Nelly that it's going to start from 12th to the 14th at the Movenpick Peak.
Yes, Movenpick.
Movenpick Hotel here in Nairobi, and also people who are out of Nairobi.
Yes, please. You can come in, or you can look at our website for just more details. smw.nairobi.com. We'll have some videos out post the event. We'll record some of the sessions and put them out. So look at our social media channels and the website.
And the media is also allowed to come and provide coverage.
Of course, definitely.
Thank you so much again, Nelly.
All right.
Thank you so much, everybody, for watching the Business Week show. My name is Chris Migwambo. Bye-bye from us.